This is Excel Chapter 3, Part 3. In this video, we're going to, first of all, freeze panes. What that means is sometimes if you get a large worksheet, say here we can't see, if I want to go all the way over to the last column, which is chart, I can't see what my expenses are over here. And so what we want to do is we want to make sure that we can always see this information. We also want to make sure that no matter how far down we go, that we can always see the month at the top of the page. So what we're going to do is freeze the panes. When you freeze the pane, you can either freeze the top row, the left side column, or you can freeze everything above and to the left of where you are selected. So in this case, we want to be able to see these dates, and we want to be able to see the labels over here on our rows. So we're going to put our cursor in cell B13. We're going to go to View, Freeze Panes. Here's where we could freeze the top row, the first column, but we want to freeze panes, and this is going to freeze everything above and to the left of where we are. As you can see now, there's these dark black lines. Now these lines will not print on your paper, and also, if you watch, we can scroll down, and as we scroll down, this information up here never moves. Take us back to where we were. We can also scroll to the right, and no matter how far to the right we go, this information over here in column A never moves. Now this is only to view. If you're going to print, this freeze has nothing to do with printing, and it will print just the same as it always has. So now that we have that froze, we are ready to enter in our projected monthly sales. Sales is revenue, and we're going to have revenue for each month. So we're just going to type in that information. And here are the numbers that you need to be typing. You may need to pause just a moment so that you can get those typed in. Once you have your revenue typed in, we're going to go over to Total Revenue, which is located in cell H13. And we're just going to go back to our Home tab, go to our Auto Sum button, and click on Sum. It's going to highlight July through December, thinking this is what we want to add because that is correct. We'll go ahead and press Enter. And your total should be 301,675,49. Now, if the rounding may, you may have some cents showing, that's okay. Don't worry about the cents right now. But if this number here is not correct, go ahead and double check the rest of your figures for July through December. Okay, now that we have our total revenue in place, we're going to enter and format a system date. A date stamp shows the date that a workbook, a report, or another document was created, or the period that it represents. In a business, a report often is meaningless without a date stamp. For example, if a printout of this worksheet in the chapter were distributed to the company's analysis, the date stamp would show when the 6-month projections were made, as well as what period that report represents. A simple way to create a date stamp is to use the Now function to enter the system date tracked in your computer in a cell in the worksheet. The Now function is one of 22 date and time functions available in Excel. When assigned to that cell, the Now function will return a number that corresponds to the system date and time, beginning with December 31st, 1899. So what we're going to do is go ahead and click in cell I11. So I'm going to go over to I and down to 11, which is right down here above the word chart. I am on the 6-month financial projection row. We're going to go to the Insert Function box. An easy way to do that is this right here with the FX button right beside your formula bar. Press that, and it's going to bring up a dialog box. You can also find all your other formulas that we've used up on AutoSum in this box. To find the one that we're looking for, which we want the Now, if you look through here, I may or may not see it because this is in my recently used category. So I can look through here on all the different categories, and if I'm wanting a Now function, which is a date, I'm going to go to the date and time. There's several different options I can choose here. I can just scroll down through and look. Oh, there is the now function. I could have also come up here in the search bar and typed now and hit go. And this is the one it recommends. Now down here you'll see that it's now parenthesis, parenthesis, which means it's going to put the formula inside that, and that it will return the current date and time formatted as a date and time. So go ahead and press OK once you're on the now formula. It says it's going to return this as a formatted as a date and time, and that it takes no arguments. Arguments are what we would have had to have selected the range to put in it. For a normal formula, this one doesn't have any. And so the result formula equals, it'll always tell you what it's going to equal before you do it. It's volatile, which means it's going to change depending on what date we have this open. So go ahead and press OK. You should now see your current date and time. Now this date and time is going to be different depending on when you're creating your worksheet. And it also may have to do with if your date and time down here is correct. So if this is incorrect, this will be incorrect. Don't worry about that now. I'm just going to check and see that you was able to insert the formula in there. We're going to go ahead and right click on this to bring up our shortcut menu and the mini toolbar. And we're going to choose Format Cells. From here we're going to go to Date, and we're going to change the date so that it just has the one that's the 3/14/2001, which is the one I have on top. We're not necessarily wanting the time, so let's just go ahead and put that one in and hit OK. It should now have your month/day/2012, or whatever the current year is. Okay, we need to make sure that this column is wide enough, so we're going to double click the border between I and J column. I'm going to move over a little bit to make that the exact right column width. And we will go ahead and stop this video there. Don't forget to save.